What's happening, people? Welcome to the Brain Nutrition Revolution. I wanted to do a video about the 3 addictive pathways of gluten, because a lot of foods, they've got addiction pathways, and I say gluten's got 3 of the most powerful ones. There's a lot of foods have got 1, some foods have got 2. A lot of foods, I say, have got the 2. With the 2 being the high blood sugar kind of dopamine release, the reward system that's been built into us for years. Like when we used to find a kill in the wild, the body would be rewarded with this feel good, and it just got built into us over years. And in the last 100 years or so, it's been a bad thorn in the side of humanity, I'd say, and it's turned into almost a fault in our design, that we've become addicted to these foods that seem to be killing the species. Do you know what I mean? So there's that hormonal addictive dopamine kind of rush pathway, and all the other hormones that are released when you ingest a large amount of calories, whether it's fat or carbs or anything. So there's that pathway, and that's why people say sugar's addictive and all that, and it is. I agree totally. It's a very powerful pathway on its own. So your wheat and grains, they've got this for sure, because they're very high carb, high blood sugar form, and just pure sugar really in the body and the blood, and the way they react with the hormones and that. And they very much, for me, more than anything, like if I eat a pizza, I feel high afterwards. The dopamine rush. I mean, it's one of the things that I enjoy. Because I still fall off the wagon myself with these foods, and I enjoy it every now and again because I don't eat them often. I mean, I feel bad afterwards, and I can't have it for long, but it'll have bad effects on my mental health. But on the night when I'm having it, I get so high off it now, the dopamine must have feel good emotions that I get from it. I'm like sitting on a couch almost drooling, you know what I mean? It's very intense. And then the other pathway with it, which are a lot of other foods, such as a lot of sugar foods have also got, it's just the way that it's being put into our culture, the way it's kind of linked to so much of our good and happy times. Like it's beer. Beer's a big part of it. It's like bread, cereal, and just foods that we've eaten all our life. Do you know what I mean? They're all like ingrained into our culture and a big part of our childhood. It's hard for us to remove them, and they're addictive in that way, I find, because I end up eating a lot of the foods when I do eat gluten that I used to eat years ago, and I never eat anything new with the gluten ever. I never try anything new. It's always the stuff that I used to eat years ago, and that because I used to eat it for 35 years before I discovered I had a problem, and so I had the foods that I used to love that I can't eat no more, and they're the foods that I go back to. So there's this emotional path with it that's very strong as well. I mean, I'd say that that's more of a reason for my weak points and the times of my relapses with it than the dopamine side or any other side of it. And the third pathway is one that you won't find much evidence of this one. It's very hidden. Like, I mean, there was a big book written about it called Wheat Belly about 10 years or more ago now. It was a bestseller, and it talked about how gluten how gluten reacts on the brain, and that it crosses the blood-brain barrier and interacts with the brain like an opiate, causing a crave like heroin. You know what I mean? So it gets you high again, like, and so it gives you this craving. Another pathway that is also meant to be very powerful. And for me, I think that it's this one that is the difference for me personally, because it seems to bring out all my other vices. Like if I eat gluten today, I'd probably end up drinking. I'd end up on a bad one, on a binge, and it just bring out all that side. Do you know what I mean? It seems to bring out the addiction side and the craving side for me. So that's another pathway. So that's the 3 pathways of bread and gluten and wheat, and that's why I think that it's possibly used in the food like situation as the addictor in the food situation, in the system. Like, so they put it in foods like when it shouldn't be there, because it makes people crave more of these foods. And just for people to crave in general is definitely a high priority of the overlords, whoever they are. And yeah, so it's the craving side to it is a big issue. Like, I think, and I think people know that this is. I mean, like I've said in other videos, I don't think that's the main use of it. I think it's the controlling of the brains, like I've said, and to make us sick. But also, I think the food companies have realised that it makes people crave as well. On top of all this, so it's just such a bad food on so many angles. You've got so many people abusing it. You've got the food companies abusing it for the addiction properties, which I've mentioned, and just putting it in food. I mean, I've seen it in soups. Why would you put gluten in a soup? How can you justify it? Like, people say to thicken up. You can thicken up with thousands of things. So why would you put something that a lot of the population are allergic to and won't eat it because it's in it? I mean, they still do it now. It's littered in it. Like, I mean, all the fast food joints, you get a lot of them put it on the chips. And yeah, it's just absolutely littered in the foods. And a lot of the people are using it as the addictor. A lot of people are pushing it. It's a big problem. Like, so yeah, I just wanted to make a video about that. Let me know what you think. Follow me for more. Speak to you soon, and follow the Evans.